everyone, welcome to Mompreneurs to Millionaires. This is this week's free training. Today we are talking all about why you should blog. So if you've ever thought about blogging but are not sure if you really need to or if you should be doing it, we're going to talk about why you should blog, what you can blog about, and really how to blog and how to get it into your schedule. So we're going to talk about those three things, and I'm so excited you're here. Give me a little wave or a thumbs up if you're here. Just let me know if you're on the live, just type live below, or if you're watching on the replay, just type replay below. I'd love to know who comes in the day of and who's coming in afterwards. Awesome. Thanks so much for being here. All right, so thanks so much to everyone who voted. Every week in this group, I offer a poll on which topics we should discuss. So if you feel like there is something about your business that keeps coming up, some type of question that you're not sure, or if you're thinking of taking a next move in your business and you're not really sure what to do, let's talk about it. Feel free to suggest a topic below, or on that poll every Tuesday, you can suggest a topic or just vote on the topics that I suggest. I would love to get some information out there of what is going to help move your business forward. And I would love to know what questions are coming up for you. So feel free to suggest topics. I'd love to hear what's going on in your business and what questions you have about your marketing, about your business moves, all of those things I'd love to hear. So feel free to share any suggestions below or on that Tuesday blog. Awesome. So today, this is for go-getters, right? You are a go-getter coach. I know you are resourceful. You are here taking in some free content because you want to absorb some more information, right? We're all here to learn. We are all here to grow. So just put on your little abundant mindset, I always like to say in these videos, and just to be open to suggestions, right? Open to new ideas. I feel like with any free content, often we are kind of stuck in our own rut, right? We are stuck in our own ways thinking, okay, this is what I'm doing, this is what I'm going to keep doing. But if it is not working, right? If your methods are not getting you leads every day, if your methods are not moving your business forward, then it's time to make a change, right? And that change comes with new knowledge, right? So you're taking in some free content, and I always like to say, come with an abundant mindset, being open to change. Abundance to me means that all things are possible, right? Everything in the world is possible. Your dream life is absolutely possible, and you have the power to change it, right? You have the power to make it happen. So being open to change is really kind of putting on that mindset hat to receive information, right? And be open to change. So with that, I'd like you to pick out two things from this video that have changed your mind, or two things that you hadn't thought of, or two things that you're going to try in your business. I would love to hear, and feel free to share them below, or you can always reach out to me privately if you like to. But I'd love for you to take away two action items from this video today. Because you are a go-getter, you are going to make moves. This is the point of taking in free content, right? Is we are going to absorb and take action items. So tell me your two action items below. I'd love to hear. So if you're new here, my name is Christina, and I love talking about my past businesses, right? I've been hearing this word serial entrepreneur, right? I feel like that definitely fits me. I started my first little Etsy shop back in 2010, and so since then, for the last 15 years, I've been figuring out what works on social media, what works online, and what does not. So I want to share that with you, right? So with Etsy, right, I smacked me in the face. I started my little shop, and I thought, oh my God, all of a sudden, I built my beautiful shop. I put out all my cute little craft projects, and no one showed up, right? So disheartening. If you build it, they do not come automatically, right? I really keep learning that lesson over and over. A few years later, right, in 2014, my husband and I opened a little bike shop, coffee shop, a little local spot here in town. I love talking about the bike shop. It was really fun. It was a brick and mortar store. We built this beautiful place, right? My husband loves bikes. I love coffee. It was the perfect little mesh of our marriage, and it was so much fun. But again, we built it, and no one showed up, right? And if any of you have had a brick and mortar store, right, it is very apparent when people are coming or not coming to your store. And I feel like it takes a little bit more commitment, right, for people to get out of their car and actually show up at your door. So it was a challenge, and we immediately realized, okay, we have to market, right? We have to figure this out. So what I really learned from the bike shop is you have to go where your customers are, right? You have to go to them. It is not enough to sit back and build it and wait for them to come. It is not enough in the online space, right? It's so huge, right? Facebook is huge. all the social media platforms are huge. It is not enough to post and hope, right? That's a little bit of a build it, if I build it, people will come mentality, right? You are posting and just kind of hoping it lands on the right ears. I'm here to tell you, right? Do not waste years like I did, right? I was stuck in this mindset for years. After we sadly had to close the bike shop, right? We learned a lot of really valuable lessons from that bike shop, and it was really fun. It was a great lesson, but I'm glad it's over. I'm glad it happened, and I'm glad it's over, right? If any of you feel like you've closed a business, it can be really disheartening and discouraging, but it was such a blessing, and I wouldn't be here, right? Being able to share that experience and all those lessons with you. So I'm really glad it happened. But we quickly learned, right, after the bike shop, I decided to turn that into my passion, because I thought, gosh, if I had to close my business, right, how many other women had to close their business doors? And what if we all learned from each other, right? What if we could all share our knowledge and access to tools and tips and tricks that work and be able to rise together, right? That is my one motto in life. We all rise together. I'm really all about building up women and empowering women with their businesses to be successful, because I think money in the right hands of good people, of mostly women, can do so much more good in the world, right? That is my goal in life. So I'm here for you. I'm here to rise together. So I would love to help you in any way that I can. I'm here to share what I've learned so that you don't make the same mistakes I did, right? So with that, after the bike shop, I forgot a really important lesson. So at the bike shop, what was really successful for us in our marketing was a Facebook group. We started a Facebook group. It was perfect for cyclists and coffee lovers alike. We could create events and really build our community. So it was fabulous for that business. And what I wish I had remembered that lesson into my next business. So after the bike shop closed, I turned it into my passion, like I said, to help other women business owners. And I started doing social media and consulting other business owners to tell them what not to do, right? What not to do, because I made those mistakes. And I wish I had remembered that Facebook group lesson, because I would tell other business owners, I would tell my clients, hey, definitely start a Facebook group, right? Join other Facebook groups. It's absolutely beneficial. But it never quite clicked. I never thought to start my own Facebook group again, because it felt, right, and many of you may be out there, it felt like too much. It felt like I'm doing all the things. I'm posting, I'm hoping, I'm doing all these things, making it pretty, doing my offers, building my website, right, making everything beautiful. And I didn't think I had time or the energy to build a Facebook group. But I'm here to tell you, in the last 10 years, that Facebook group is the only thing that has moved my business forward and actually generated leads every single day for my business. I didn't start a Facebook group for my consulting business, for my coaching business, until just last year. Everything was word of mouth, and it was very, very slow growing, right? It was very slow. I had very few clients, but I just kept posting and hoping. And I'm here to tell you, it did not pan out, right? Until I started that Facebook group. And it was just last year that I started this Facebook group, Mompreneurs to Millionaires, and it has moved my business leaps and bounds forward. So that is my goal, is to help all of you. If you have not started a Facebook group, or you feel like you have a dead Facebook group, I think there are definitely some tricks that I would love to share with you, how to reinvigorate that Facebook group and get it moving again, getting you 5 to 10 qualified leads every single day. That is always my goal. So that is the biggest lesson that I learned from the bike shop, and I would love to share more of that with you. If any of you are struggling with getting leads, I would love to help. I always offer a free social media audit or a Facebook group audit where we can talk about some free ideas that could work for you, and then we can go from there, right? I would love to share with you my coaching program to offer you more accountability and get you moving and get your business moving forward. That's always my goal. So, but for today's topic, right, we were talking about blogging. So at the bike shop, we did not do a blog, and I really wish we had, because what I have learned about blogging over the last 10 years is it is a long game, right? But there are definitely good ways to do blogging, right? And maybe not so effective ways to do blogging. And so that's what I want to share with you today. I think the number one reason for blogging is getting found on Google, right? So at the bike shop, what I did learn, which was a huge mistake, and I want to tell all of you not to do it, is I paid for Google ads, right? I think Google is not as heavy. Maybe they still are, right? If you have a local number, I mean, more people are selling you Google ads than calling about your business. every single day at the bike shop. I got far more calls to the bike shop phone about selling me Google ads. So of course I thought, that's how you get on Google, right? It must be, I get an ad on Google and I show up on Google, because that's how people are going to find my physical location, right? I really thought that's what I needed to do. So I spent so much money at the bike shop on Google ads, and it never panned out, right? Google ads are amazing. And if you have it figured out and you're paying for Google ads and you have a good system, more power to you. It is really hard and complicated, I think, to find the right keywords, because it's so competitive, right? To find the right keywords that are actually going to move your business forward. So I would always start small, right? Start with the minimum, but again, they're always going to encourage you to spend more money on ads, right? So Google ads, that's my big word of caution, right? Don't spend a bunch of money on Google ads unless you know what you're doing or you're paying someone who knows what they're doing. It's complicated, right? And I think it can be a huge time suck and a huge waste of money. So just be really cautious of Google ads. But to me, the best way to show up on Google is blogging. That is the number one reason why you should think about blogging, right? If you are wanting to show up on Google, if you have a website and you're hoping to get a little bit more organic reach, blogging is the best way to do this, because blogging allows you to be recent and relevant to every Google search that you want to show up for. Also, it allows so many more keywords, right, to be on your website. So if Google is crawling your website and you haven't updated it in forever, there's nothing new for Google to see, right? There's nothing, even if you have all the keywords that someone is searching for, there is nothing new and recent for Google to see. So you are not going to show up in searches. So blogging is the number one way, I think, to get in organic traffic on Google, because you are, right? Google's always scanning. Google is scanning. So if you have recent information and relevant information to someone's searches, you are going to show up, right? That's the goal. And there are a lot of amazing tools out there, right? I love Rank IQ. If anyone has used Rank IQ, feel free to share any tools that you think have been really helpful if you're a blogger. And if you have a blog, right, please feel free to post in the comments below. I would love to support your blog. I think we could all, learn from each other and share each other's blogs, comment on each other's blogs, pin each other's blogs. That's really what it takes as well, right? But I would love to support your blog as well. So feel free to post that below. But if you have a tool, right, that you think is helpful to SEO for blogging, definitely feel free to share that below. But that's really the number one reason as to why you should blog is SEO, right? Search engine optimization. So if you're wanting to show up in Google, I think the easiest way to do that is blogging. And again, it's a long game, right? And you really want to be strategic about this. So you really want to be picking low competitive keywords, but high demand, right? Obviously, high demand, high searches. People, what are people searching for that there's not a lot of information about yet? That's your, right? That would be where you would want to start. So what I also love about blogging is, and this is another kind of close to number one reason why, is that it allows you to learn, right? I think the best part of being a business owner is being open to learning and going on that journey of learning new information, right? I love challenging myself every week to think about a topic that would be helpful to others, that I myself want to learn about, and that could show up in searches, right? That would be related to my business. So sometimes it's a little bit of a stretch, right? Because it's hard to come up with topics every week. But there are so many things, I'm sure, in your industry, in your niche, that you could talk about, right? You just pull one little piece, like of part of your framework or a part of your methods of helping people, or just something you want to learn about, right? That would be related to your target audience. That's what I love thinking about. I think blogging is another way to get in the mind of your target audience. What does she want to learn about, right? What would she be searching for on Google, right? And that's what you would want to blog about. I think it's a really great way to learn yourself, right? New things as well, because you have to, do a little bit of research to write the blog, but also to help others, right? It's another free resource, I think, that is really amazing. And number two, right, is, so if the first number one reason is why to blog is to show up in Google, right? SEO, that is really the number one, because there are so many different ways to hide keywords, include keywords in your body of your text, in your headings, and right, I have a whole video on SEO, so if you're interested in that, feel free to say SEO below. I'll send you that video. But that's really the number one reason why you should blog is SEO. Show up in organic searches on Google. That is the goal of blogging. And again, it's a long game, right? Google is always searching and scanning your website, so it really wants to find that new information. So number two is really the what. What are you going to blog about, right? That is always the topic that comes up, right? And like I was saying, it can sometimes get hard to think if you're trying every week to post a new blog, or if you're trying every month. Sometimes it can be a challenge to talk about certain things about your business, right? Because you feel like you've talked about it already, right? So what I love, of course, is ChatGPT, right? ChatGPT or whatever AI tool that you're using for your business is really invaluable, right? I feel like it is such an amazing tool to give you ideas. So you could even say, what are some SEO-rich blog topics related to my business? Oh my God, and it'll give you 4 million, right, different ideas. But then, of course, once you pick a topic, then you could have it draft you an outline. You could have it draft you the whole blog, right? You could have it draft you whatever you wanted to. What I would always suggest, of course, is to obviously edit it as a human, read through it, add your own voice, add your own links, add your own, right, add your own flair to it, right? We don't want to just be putting out a bunch of AI stuff. There's certainly a lot of that out there, but it can be such a time saver, and there's no reason to start from scratch, right? So the whole idea would be to get new information out there and get that SEO working for you. So if you're wondering what to talk about, right, definitely start with ChatGPT. There are a million things that ChatGPT will recommend, but I also love using Pinterest. So, right, I always talk about Pinterest. If you are a blogger, definitely you want to be on Pinterest. The bloggers are on Pinterest, right, for sure. If your target audience is women, definitely think about being on Pinterest. It is the most clickable platform. Out of all the social media platforms, it is the most clickable because it's really, they say, like a searchable database, right? And every pin is designed to be clickable. And so Pinterest just really, I feel like, created that seamless interface with clicking off of Pinterest from the get-go. Everyone is used to clicking to get that printable, used to getting that recipe. They are used to clicking off of Pinterest. If you notice on Facebook, it's a little clunky, right? It's a little clunky to click off of Facebook. And Instagram is by far the least clickable out of all the social media platforms, right? It's a great place to hang out. Really hard to get anyone to click or do anything. So, so that's a really great place. If you have a blog, definitely think about being on Pinterest because it's more clickable. It's a great place to drive traffic to your blog. But if you're looking for ideas on what to blog, right, that is a great place to start. I love using Pinterest to really get in the mindset of my target audience. I love trying to think and create new boards of what she would be searching for. What are her questions? What does she have going on in her life, even if it has nothing to do with my business, right? What is she searching for? And Pinterest is beautiful, right? There are beautiful pictures, beautiful ideas. It really gets the creative juices flowing. So I love that. That's another reason, I think, as to why you should blog. It really just gets you out of your kind of everyday rut of content and really gets you thinking about kind of that long form content. What could you talk about? What could you talk about, right, in a 2-page blog or whatever, 2,000 words or something like that, right? What I also love is that blogs turn into products, turn into books, turn into, right? They turn into other freebies. They turn into different ideas. So if you feel like you are stuck in your business and you haven't had a new offer in a while, you haven't had a new freebie, like you just kind of feel stuck, think about blogging, right? Start blogging about different topics and for sure the creative juices will start flowing because then you'll start thinking, oh, my target audience would really like to learn about this. Maybe I could offer this piece of that, right, that they could use. Maybe I could offer that freebie that's related to that. So I really love that blogging gets your creative juices flowing. It really gets you thinking out of your comfort zone. What could help your audience? And that is what is really beautiful because, again, right, you could do a blog series. It could turn into a book. It could maybe turn into a free ebook, right? That could be a lead magnet. It could turn into a top 10 list. It could turn into, right? There's a million different things that it could turn into. So I love blogging. Again, it's a long game, right? Because it takes Google at least 90 days to relook at your website, right? So you definitely want to, if you're thinking about starting, start now, right? Start small, do whatever is doable, but definitely it's a longer game for sure. But if you want to show up in Google, right, that is, I think, the number one way to do that. So number 3 is really how then. How can you get this? How can you start blogging? How can you get this started into your system? And I think the easiest way, obviously, is check your website, right? Whatever host you're using, most website hosts have their own kind of blogging, whether it's a widget or just kind of form within your website host. So most website hosts, right, have some sort of way that you can blog, posting, that kind of thing. So you don't have to pay for like an extra service or an outside link or whatever. Your website for sure has the capability of blogging. So think about doing that and then figure out what works in your schedule, right? Is it once a week that you can commit to writing a blog, or is it just once a month, right? Whatever that kind of looks like for you, start small. Start small with, a goal that you can do. I also love that blogging is something you can add to your newsletter, right? If you feel like you're sending out a newsletter and all you're doing is being like, hey, here's my offer, here's my offer, here's my offer, right? It can get old and stale, right? You want to give them new information. So a blog is a great new thing to talk about in your newsletter. So it's another great content idea, right? Is if you're running out of things to say in your newsletter, or you just want another resource for your audience, right? A blog is a great way. There are some people who read, right? There are some people who read blogs and there are some who don't, or just scan, right? It's hard for me to read a whole blog, but I will definitely scroll and scan the highlights, right? Of course. And some blogs that I'm really interested in, I'll get pulled in, right? And I'll definitely read the whole thing. So it's hard to know who your audience, right? And what kind of reader they are. But obviously you want to give them all different facets of ways to connect with your content. So that's another great way to connect, is with a blog. So that's really the how, is to get it in your schedule, right? Really think about, okay, what could I really do? What could I commit to? I'm going to try once a month, right? That's a small goal. Shoot for that, whether it's like one Saturday you're just going to commit to writing, or whenever you kind of feel inspired, or you're wanting to kind of step out of your comfort zone. That's a great thing to kind of think about. And so that's really how you can start, right? Start small with something doable, and start with your own website, right? You don't have to have any other equipment or, right, third-party app or anything else outside of that. But definitely use ChatGPT, right, to help save time and get your blog going. Then it's really, I find writing the blog is far quicker than all the other stuff, right? Then all the other stuff is optimizing it for SEO. So we can talk all about that, right? I have that in my SEO video if any of you are interested in how to optimize your blog. But that's really the other piece, is then once you have a blog, then you want to start thinking about, okay, how could I get more signups from this blog? Where do I want to send people? You could start backlinking to your other blogs, maybe to other people you want to collab with, right? You could be linking to other people's blogs, which I think is a great idea, right? We have in the Facebook chat, in the Messenger, which I think is going away soon, but in Facebook Messenger, we have a backlink swap. So if any of you are bloggers and you're wanting to swap backlinks, I am always up for swapping backlinks. I think it's really important to support each other and have really genuine, authentic backlinks to where you can link to someone else's blog in your blog, and then maybe they would link to your blog in their blog, right? So it's a great win-win, I think, partnership to collab with other like-minded individuals, women who are supporting women. Those are all some great ways to collaborate. So that's really, I think, it about blogging, right? If you have any questions about blogging, definitely I am here. I would love to share with you everything that I know. But that's really the piece that I think is the long game, right? You want to start thinking about, where can you put links for your signups? Where can you put, a cute button that goes to your, maybe you have an Etsy store with a bunch of printables, right? So in the blog, you can start putting these things, right? If you want to get people to your shop, if you have a shop on your website and you have a bunch of different offerings, right? If you have a coaching business and you have, like on my website, we have like group coaching and one-on-one, and I want to get eyeballs on those different offerings, right? So I like to put those in my blogs just to get more eyeballs, right, to your shop. So those are some other ideas to think about. If you have digital printables, if you have a library, right, a digital library, and you just want some more free signups, it's a great button to put in your blog, right? As people are reading about XYZ, then they can be like, oh, sign up for free printables, right? They might have something like that. So it's another great way to just get organic traffic and get more signups into your system, onto your email list, get more eyeballs into your shop, and all of those things. If you have affiliate links, right, it's a great place to include affiliate links, right? So if you are an Amazon affiliate, right, you can definitely do those types of things. Or if you have affiliate links for other digital products, right, a blog is a great way to put some of those things. So definitely be careful, right, if there's some legality stuff. If you are including affiliate links, of course, you want to make sure you're letting your audience know that there are affiliate links included. But definitely check your, I'm certainly not a legal expert, so definitely check your legal requirements for including those affiliate links. But definitely blogging is a great place to include some of those links that can help you out. Awesome. So let me know if you have any questions about blogging. I would love to hear. Like I said, I always offer that free strategy call. So if you feel like you are stuck in your business and you feel like you've taken enough free content, right? Again, I would love to hear what your 2 action items are that you took away from today's video. But if you are over the free content, right? If you are done with downloading a free video and trying to make it work for your business and applying a bunch of different things, it is so easy to get distracted, right? I feel like free content is amazing, but it can really pull you in a lot of different directions, right? Because you're kind of at the mercy of the algorithm. What free content popped up today? Oh, I'll go down that rabbit hole, right? Oh, this popped up. Oh yeah, I should focus on that. I'll go down that route. And you don't really have a consistent overall comprehensive strategy, right? And that is really what I love helping you create. You might have all the pieces that you've started. You might have Pinterest over here, maybe your Facebook group over here, and your website or your blog over here, but nothing is working cohesively into one system that's getting you qualified leads every single day. So that is what I love, helping you create that system so that you can be consistent. That is the goal. You don't need more followers, right? You need leads. So if you feel like you are stuck in a posting and hoping strategy and you don't feel like it is getting you enough leads that you can start building those relationships, let's talk, because I think relationships are far more important than content, right? I would much rather you focus on building those relationships, asking the right questions, building a community, as opposed to creating beautiful content, right? I love beautiful pictures, right? I am one for, I love creating content. But I find that content is not king, right? Content is not converting in the way that we think it does, right? I really think relationship building is what converts. So if you have any questions about that, I would love to share more with you with that free strategy or free social media audit. Feel free to just say strategy below. I would love to reach out to you. And if you feel like fear just keeps coming up and holding you back in your business, right? Those are definitely some things that I talk about with my coaching clients. I love talking about limiting beliefs and maybe what's kind of holding you back, right? Because I think there are so many things that we can learn from each other. I myself, of course, have overcome a lot of fear and limiting beliefs, but it's a journey, right? I think as women, every new day, every new challenge brings up new limiting beliefs, right, that we really have to work through. So it's about having those tools. And I always say abundance is great, but it's really hard to stay in that abundant mindset 24/7, right? Give me one bad day and it's really hard to get out of those valleys. So it's really about having the tools in your toolbox that can help you get out of those kind of funky days, right? Or if you see one post that really triggers you in one direction, right? It can be really hard to get yourself kind of out of that funk. So those are the things that we talk about, right? I love working with one-on-one clients because I love getting to know your business, and every business is different, right? Every woman is different. So it's really figuring out what's going to work for you and what's going to work for your schedule and what's going to work for your mindset, where you are now. So I'd love to talk with you further if you are looking for more accountability, if you are looking for more strategy, and if you are looking for more motivation, then I would love to talk with you. I also feel like sales, right? I think sales is such a huge part of being a business owner. And I think women shy away from sales, right? Unfortunately, I know myself, right? For years, I shied away from being direct. I shied away from wanting to sell because I didn't want to be salesy, right? If any of you feel like you don't want to be salesy, I think that is such a hard part of being an entrepreneur. Nobody wants to be salesy, right? Because we've all gotten those spammy DMs, right? We've all gotten those pushy conversations or coffee chats that turned into sales calls, right? We've all been in those situations. Nobody wants to be pushy. So I really think there is an aligned place where you can feel like your authentic self and sell from a place of power and sell from a place of confidence, right? And sell from a place that's aligned with who you are, right? Nobody wants to be pushy. Nobody wants to be salesy, right? So that is really the goal of my coaching program. I love working through those sales skills and teaching different sales strategies that feel good to you, because it is about getting the right skills and the right strategy that is going to be effective. It is not about just not being a salesperson, right? If you've ever felt like, oh, I'm just not good at sales, right? You are absolutely good at sales. I know you can be good at sales. Every woman is good at sales, right? We sell our family on what to eat every night, right? We sell our kids on why it's important to make their bed or whatever it is, right? You are good at selling. And women are great empathizers, right? I think women are so much more empathetic and are able to connect with their customers in a way that I think other salesmen perhaps can't. So I definitely think women can be great saleswomen. And that's my goal, is to help you overcome any limiting beliefs and work through some of those sales skills. So if that's something you're interested in, I would love to chat with you more. I think that is it for today. Again, if you feel like you have a dead Facebook group and you are not getting qualified leads from your group, let's talk, because there is a way to reinvigorate that Facebook group and get more engagement. I love talking about how to get more engagement in your group and get people actually talking and actually warming up to your offers and services. All right, that is it for today. If you have any questions on blogging or any questions on Facebook groups or just your overall marketing strategy, feel free to reach out to me or just say so below. I'd love to meet with you. Thanks so much.